What's going on, everyone? Talen here, and welcome to another account progression video. Alright, so as you can see here, we are going to be getting Wasp to tier 2 in this one, and this is the Nadia Van Dyne, so the newest Wasp that we have here, or the Wasp Classic, whatever we want to call her. Yeah, so we finally have her ready to tier 2, and I must say, I've had some of the most horrible RNG ever on any character rolling her gears. It took me literally the entire month of the bio sub to get her to gear 20. This is the first time I've ever had that happen for any of the bio sub characters. Normally I'm done in about 15 to 20 days, so usually about half of the time to a little bit over, maybe 3 weeks at most. But no, she took like the entire month with the exception of like 2 days at the end. So anyway, now that we finally have her ready to go, we are going to tier 2 her, especially after waiting this long. I am ready to finally rank her up. So let's go ahead and take a look here. So for her skills, the only ones that I leveled up are the second skill here to get that increase to the dodge, all attack, all speed, and crit rates. Then finally her fifth skill here because we get an increase to the recovery and I believe the guard as well, because I think it just starts as a 1-hit guard and then it goes to a 2-hit guard. I can't remember for sure, but anyway, we did level up those skills there. So for her tier 2, we are going to be getting a damage proc basically on her tier 2 because we have a 180% for one attack. And then we have a 25% increase to guaranteed dodge, which is really nice. So it'll make her a little bit more troublesome to deal with because she already has a good mixture of iframes and survivability from the kind of refreshing guard that she has here and the heal on the fifth skill. So it's going to make her quite difficult to deal with, I think, in PvP, and she should be very strong in PvE in terms of survivability and damage. If we can actually get the 2 damage procs to line up. So if you have a damage proc on your obelisk and then the one on the tier 2 passive here is what I'm curious to see if we can kind of get those into a rotation. So doing 1 rotation of her skills, we will get 2 damage procs, which would be pretty cool. We do have Power the Angry Hulk on her, so I went with a offensive set. Definitely think that works well with her because she does have some pretty decent DPS, so I'd like to augment that a little bit with Power the Angry Hulk. And then we do have kind of just a basic obelisk on her right now, but it does work pretty well because it has recovery and a damage proc on it, and I like having recovery on her to help synergize with that fifth skill. It says, you know, it's only a 6% heal, but I believe it goes off twice if I remember correctly, so you get that 2 times. So you are going to get a pretty nice heal from it, so definitely that recovery rate is going to help. Ignore defense is nice as well since I don't have enough on my card to get her completely capped, so this will help cap her off and ignore defense. And like I said, the damage proc is there just because I'm curious to see if we can get a dual damage proc, but if that doesn't end up working out very well, then definitely just go with invincibility on her because then you're basically going to have both. You're going to have invincibility and a damage proc. But I could see this kind of working because you do have a 7-second cooldown on the obelisk damage proc and a 10-second cooldown on her tier 2 passive damage proc, so you should be able to get them go off one after another, but maybe at the start of the fight you'll get both to go off. One will just override the other, and then after that, since the cooldowns will be off sync, you should be able to get them both active. What was the percent chance? Oh, it's when using a skill. Oh, okay, never mind. You can actually time when the damage proc goes off. Just scratch everything that I said right there. You can definitely control the damage proc so you can get them to go off whenever you want. So that's perfect, actually. And then we enhance the effects of the skill Whimsical Wasp, which is her passive right here, which is a 10% increase to all attack for 3 seconds to all allies when the miniaturize effect is applied, but it only has a 1-second cooldown. So basically, as long as you keep using the miniaturize effect, you're going to continuously have this 10% to all attack, which is pretty nice, so I do like that. So now it is finally time to go ahead and tier 2 her, now that I've blabbered on enough about her skills. So we're going to be using a ticket here, and I still have 9 of these, so I think I'm going to go on a little bit of a tier 2 spree after this and tier 2 a few more characters. Of course, I'm going to save some for the Deadpool update because there's probably going to be a few paywall characters in there, so I'll need the tier 2 tickets. But anyway, there we go. Wasp is now tier 2, or Nadia is tier 2. We have the Unstoppable Wasp. We already went over that, so let's go ahead and back out here. We got all new, all different Wasp. Alright, so let's go ahead and see what her passive changed to. Okay, so it's a 15% increase to all attack, so not too bad. So she's going to be getting, what, a 30% overall or something like that? Yeah, so she has 15 here, 15 here. Yeah, so she's going to be increasing her attack quite a bit. And then, of course, her tier 2 is going to go off when she uses her third skill here, the Pim Disc, which in itself is just the skill where she kind of puts those, like, I don't know what they're really called. They look like sprinklers or something that kind of spray a mist around that miniaturizes the enemies. So it doesn't really do much damage, so you definitely do not want the damage proc to actually go off on that skill. So you're just going to start the skill and then cancel right into the skill that you want your damage proc on. Is pretty much how I see this working out for her tier 2 passive. Alright, cool. So now that we have her at tier 2 here, let's just go ahead and try out a little bit, see if we can't mess around with those damage procs and see if we can get some nice DPS out of her. So let's jump into some gameplay. Alright, so here we are at the World Boss Ultimate, Coal Obsidian, Stage 15. We're going to be trying Nadia out here with this team. We have Ebony for the 40% energy leadership, and then we have Coulson for his tier 2 passive. We're going to go with all damage strikers because she does have good enough survivability that she does not need anti-venom for the healing. She has the healing on her 5th skill and of course that guard, and she has plenty of iframes to rely on. I did try her out against stage 20 here against Coal Obsidian, and she did not have enough damage with this team. So I'm hoping that going down 5 stages, she's going to have enough damage. So her damage is just okay. It's not amazing, but Cole here is a very, very tanky character, and he is able to minimize damage quite well. He has really high energy and physical defense. Of course, his physical defense is higher than energy, but he does have a considerable amount of energy defense compared to the other world bosses as well. So damage is looking a little bit better. Oh, I think I missed my... Oh no, we got the proc on there. Okay, cool. Alright, yeah, so damage is definitely looking a lot better than at stage 20, that's for sure. Alright, so we're getting them down, slowly but surely. Oh, we didn't get the damage proc there, did we? There's the damage proc. We are still taking bleed damage because I keep pausing between the skills. Oh, and this is where we can get messed up as well, because her 4th skill is an intermittent iframe, so when he does like that continual spin attack right there, you can definitely get sucked in and guard broken from that. The hardest part is making sure that your obelisk proc goes off, just because it doesn't always seem to want to go off on the skill that I try to get it to go off on. But you're always going to have the tier 2 passive damage proc go off very consistently because it's triggered right when you use the 3rd skill, so as soon as you cancel out of the 3rd skill, you have that damage proc active, so it's always going to be starting at the beginning of your 5th skill, which is very nice because then you're guaranteeing the damage proc for the entire skill. Oh, whoops, I mistimed that one. Alright, well, we're going to need some healing now. Alright, let's get back into an iframe here. But like I said, that is an intermittent iframe on the 4th skill, so keep that in mind. Alright, we need to get this 5th skill back up and running so we can get the heal. Alright, where's our damage proc? It is not here right now. Where is it? Hello, damage proc? Oh, there you are. Okay, let's run away. Alright, damage proc. Hello, there you are. progress is definitely a little slower here on the last bit of health on Black Dwarf, or Cole here. Come on, Cole, just give in. Let her finish you off. So yeah, her 5th skill is definitely a lot safer than her 4th skill, because the 4th skill, like I was saying, is an intermittent iframe, so you can get canceled out of it, or you can actually run into like those dot effects, like the poison pools on the ground, and get clipped by that as well. Alright, just a little bit more. Hopefully this will do it right here. One more 5th skill. And yes, there we go. Oh wait, he's still alive? Kill him. I thought he was dead. Okay, but anyway, she was able to do it. Despite having 2 damage procs, I'm actually not as impressed as I thought I would be with her damage, but I guess her damage starting off was just kind of, I would say, above average damage. Nothing like too crazy, like she doesn't have really high burst damage, but she does have really decent damage compared to a lot of other characters. Hey, we got some Cosmic Cube fragments, I'll always take that. So overall, I do really like her, and I like the dual damage proc thing for her. It can be useful, I think, and as you were kind of seeing during the gameplay there, I wasn't always able to get the 2 damage procs right where I wanted them, but for the most part, I was always able to get a damage proc on the 4th skill and the 5th skill because of that. Definitely, if you just have to choose between one or the other, the 5th skill seems to be the more damaging of the 2 skills. Overall, I really do like her. She's very fun to play. I like all the iframes. I like the skill animations. I like having to do a little bit more, or kind of pay attention a little more when I'm playing her, so that I can line up the 2 procs. But it's really easy to transfer the proc from the tier 2 passive. You just tap the 3rd skill and pretty much immediately go into whatever skill you want the damage proc on. So you can definitely just put a invincibility obelisk on her and not deal with the RNG of the obelisk proc going off where you want it to. And then you can kind of get the best of both worlds, because then you have the invincibility and the extra damage from the proc, making her a more well-rounded character. And for PvP, definitely, I think having that invincibility obelisk would be really good on her, or an obelisk of refinement to kind of synergize with her healing, because then she can get multiple heals, she gets the additional guard, and of course more recovery, which would be very nice. But for PvE, I really do like having the extra damage proc. Is just a little bit more bonus, or bang for the buck on the character. And yeah, so she was only able to clear stage 15 here. Maybe if I built her up a little more, put on some Uru, she'd be able to do a little bit better. Right now she's pretty bare bones, no Uru. She is capped at ignore defense and skill cooldown, but that's pretty much it. Let's see what else besides that. I did actually test her out against Corvus, and she was able to, or she had enough damage to beat Corvus at stage 20, so a little bit better against Corvus, but he seems to be easier to beat than Black Dwarf overall. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of showcase of Nadia here, ranking her up to tier 2, doing a little bit of testing with her, showing that the dual obelisk, or the dual damage proc, does seem to work pretty well with her. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and of course I will catch you in the next one.